Hey, it's Leo here with the Extra Mile. It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen. You hear me now? Listen, I tell you, you might be asking, what's this thing about 80-year-old wisdom? Well, it's not that the wisdom is 80 years old. It's more of that whom the wisdom comes from is 80 years old. And when I think about it, it probably should be more of 90-year-old wisdom, because the person that I speak of on today has turned 89 years old, so it's more likely 90-year-old wisdom. And the person that I speak of is my grandfather. He was born August 5th, 1930, and he has served in the military. Thankful for his service. He has served as a pastor for 30 plus years. He retired about 2.5 years ago. He has been a intricate part of my life. He was my pastor for a majority of my young life, probably about 18 years or so. And about 8 years ago, I had a significant transition in my life, a lot of changes going on, and my grandfather came alongside of me as a mentor, a counselor, and he just loved on me. He loved me, and he brought me as close as he could because he wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to navigate the challenges that I was experiencing. And so we had a lot of conversations over that time that we connected very closely. So much and so he shared with me, he said, "Grandson, there are things that I've shared with you that I have not shared with anybody. I don't know why, but obviously they were of value and necessity for you." And so as we were talking on one occasion, we were riding in the vehicle, I was driving, and I loved being able to just chauffeur him around, just be able to, in that course of time, hear the things that he would share, and he would even listen to me as well. And in one occasion, we were actually driving. I was driving him, and he was sitting in the passenger seat, and he said, "I want to share something with you." And in the context of our conversation, I was very intrigued about what he was about to say. And so I look over at him, I said, "I'm listening." And he says to me, "Grandson, I want you to have a reverse gear." And I'm like, okay. So in the context of our conversation, this wasn't really too exciting for me to hear initially, because it's like, so are you telling me that I might have to sell out at times and, tell people that were wrong that they were right? Or, I mean, trust me, I went off the deep end as far as my thoughts about it, but I was wise enough to listen to him. He said, "What I mean is, sometimes we go forward, and when we go forward, we realize that there was something else that may have needed to be done, or something that we probably didn't give consideration to, and we need to make some adjustments." He's like, "Have a reverse gear. Be willing to be humble enough to step back and say, okay, let's do this different." Well, here's what's been happening with me here recently, connected to what I want to share with you. I set a plan in motion. And when I set this plan in motion, I begin to execute it full effect. And when I set it in motion, as I move forward, there were some new developments that arose that said, okay, you need to abandon this plan that you set and go with this plan that's over here. You go back to my grandfather's statement, have a reverse gear. It sounds pretty solid at that point. Well, what I learned is this. It's important that you acknowledge if you were wrong in your decision, and if you were right in your decision, that you realize if something better has presented itself, make the adjustment. So make sure you take that 80-plus-year-old wisdom and you say, have a reverse gear. Because it very well may be that the advantage that is really for you to leverage is on the other side of your reverse gear. This has been Leo with the Extra Mile. Until next time, take care.